Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lysha from Lysha Be Creative, and today's tutorial is a tropical leaf themed tumbler. So I was actually inspired and I came across this image on Pinterest, and it really inspired me because I really just loved the greens and the pinks that this image really very simplistically brought, but it really gave me fantastic ideas to recreate this something similar on a tumbler. So of course, everything I use in today's tutorial will be listed and linked down in the description box. Definitely check that description box out for discount codes as well as links to all of my social media. While you're in there, definitely make sure you check out my Facebook group, Lysha Be Creative Community. It is a fun community that I've been able to build over there, and we have just so much fun talking about glitter. I go live every Friday, and we just have a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a fantastic craft group to join, that is definitely one to check out. So before you go, give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I do upload videos every Tuesday and Friday, and you do not want to miss future tutorials. So that is more than enough for me. Let's just go ahead and get right into today's tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm starting with a 20-ounce tumbler that I had stripped from a previous design I wasn't thrilled with, and I'm going to spray paint that with a flat white spray paint. So instead of waiting for this to dry and applying Mod Podge, I'm going to apply this glitter directly over the spray paint. So the glitter that I am using is a Girlfriend from my Aisha Creations. It's a beautiful white glitter that has some silver pieces as well as some beautiful hearts, and I just love this glitter. It came in a Glynal pack that I had gotten a while back, but I just love this, and I'm surprised I haven't used it yet. So after I have gotten my glitter completely covered over that tumbler on that wet paint, I'm just going to take a piece of parchment paper, because this is a chunkier glitter, and I'm going to wrap my tumbler in the parchment paper to flatten any of those hearts or larger chunky pieces that could stick up during the epoxying process. So I will wait until the paint underneath is completely dry before I go in and spray seal this. So you don't have to spray seal your glitter when you're doing one color, but I knew I was going to be epoxying other cups at the same time, so I decided to go in with a couple coats of clear gloss spray paint. After my spray sealing is done, I'm going to go in with 2 coats of Quick Coat in order to get this sealed. While waiting for my cup to be cured, I'm going to use this Hippo Waterslide Decal paper. It is clear Waterslide, and I have a discount code down in the description box. I got this digital paper from Etsy that I will link in the description box, so I'm going to print that on a Google Doc and then get this spray sealed 3 times in order to make sure it's glossy and ready to be applied. After 2 coats of epoxy, this is pretty much ready to go. It is smooth all the way around, and the only parts that I need to focus on are on the top rim. I even really don't need to do a whole lot of sanding on the bottom rim. So I'm really just going to focus on this top rim here, making sure I have that nice fine line of stainless steel so that my final coats can adhere to the top outer rim. So I like to use my nail file tool, which I have mentioned plenty of times before, but this is definitely an easy and quick way to get that sanding of the top rim. So now, of course, it is time to apply our water slide. So I have trimmed off all of the excess water slide, and now I'm just going to see how much of my water slide decal paper is going to fit on the cup. I know that a full sheet of water slide really does fit perfectly along a 20 ounce or a 24 ounce cup. So I'm going to be applying this. So like I always do, I'm going to start by dipping my water slide in my lukewarm water and getting some water onto my cup as well, while I'm waiting for my water slide to start to remove itself from the backing. Once I've submerged this for about 30 seconds to a minute and it freely moves along the back side, I'm now going to begin to apply it to the tumbler. So I start by applying just one edge of the water slide onto my cup, and then I hold that one edge very carefully and begin to pull the water slide backing from the back of the water slide very slowly, just to get a little bit more adhered there. Definitely make sure that you still are keeping your water slide inside of the water in order to make sure that everything stays nice and moist and that your water slide doesn't get wrinkled and get all crazy on you as you're trying to work your way around the cup. So as I am applying this water slide a little bit by a little bit, I am going to use just a squeegee tool, a silicone kind of flat brush that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. You can get them on Amazon as well. I'll definitely link those in the description box as well. And I am just trying to use that to apply some water when needed, but also to squeegee out any of the air bubbles and water that may be underneath the water slide and between my cup and water slide paper. So again, This is a slow process, and although this is sped up, this still takes me probably a good 5 to 10 minutes to apply a full water slide wrap, and that is really taking my time here, making sure that I am getting any air bubbles and water bubbles out from under the water slide so that I have a beautiful print on my cup without any sort of imperfections. So as soon as I have the water slide wrapped all the way around, I know that I'm going to have a little bit of excess here, so I will be trimming that off with a craft knife, but I'm just going to go back around and just make sure that I have everything applied the way I need it to be and that everything is on pretty straight. Now taking my craft knife and just very carefully cutting a little bit with an overlap along that edge and removing that extra piece of Waterslide Decal that I do not need. So after I remove that, I will just go back through and make sure that my water slide has no air bubbles or any sort of water underneath, and then let this sit until dry. After that's dried, I will put that on the turner for another coat of epoxy and work on my decals. So I printed this decal here, cut this decal rather, with a tech wrap vinyl that I've had for a while. I'll link it in the description box. I actually originally purchased it off Amazon, and so this, I just created this decal to similarly match what I had seen in the image from Pinterest. I just used a font that I found similarly, which I will also link down in the description box, and I'm going to apply this directly along the seam. I want to kind of try and hide that seam a bit. So I also got these little stencils of larger leaves that I was able to find from an Etsy shop, which I have linked down in the description box, and I've printed them or cut them to be rather large in the same exact vinyl that I used for the word breathe. And so I kind of love this kind of holographic look against this green and pink background. It really is just so unique. And once I saw kind of like that bright pink against that green background, I wanted to try that. And this is kind of where I kind of let my mind kind of go. So I thought having these holographic larger leaves on top of the green background would also pull a little bit of that green through, and I really do think that this came out well. So using those larger leaves first to be able to cover a good portion of that backside of the tumbler along the word breathe, and then I'm just going to place another one of those stenciled leaves on the other side of the breathe decal, kind of going in the opposite direction. So this sort of vinyl, it is holographic, and so I did use the holographic cut setting on my Cricut to get this cut, but it really did weed very nicely, and this is probably the first time I've actually used tech wrap vinyl, if I'm honest. I don't use it very often, or haven't used it very often, and so I typically will just grab other brands just because it's usually what I have available, but I really was impressed with this vinyl and how easily I was able to weed it as well as get it applied to the cup. So this final leaf I did cut in half because I had printed or cut 4 leaves originally, but I had ended up screwing one up as I was trying to weed it. I just had pulled pieces off that I shouldn't have, and so I'm going to take this last leaf that I have and I'm going to cut it in half and apply half of it towards the bottom, touching sort of that bottom edge where the white rim and white glittered rim ends up, and then with the top portion, or with this bottom portion of the leaf, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to point the stem portion down and allow a lot of those leaves to kind of hang off the edge. So once I get this last stencil leaf applied, I then of course am going to remove the transfer tape off the top, and then I will take a craft knife in order to trim off all of the kind of overlap over that top rim. So I'm trying to keep a nice clean white rim on the top and the bottom. You certainly could cover that up with vinyl if you choose to, but I just decided to leave that as is because I really like the look. So let's take a look at the final results. So as always, to finish this cup off, I applied 2 final coats of epoxy and then let this sit to cure for 24 hours before I'm able to clean it up and let it cure for another couple days before shipping it off. So I hope that you enjoyed today's tutorial. This one was a fun one, and I'm always finding so much inspiration from Pinterest. Definitely make sure if you loved today's video, give this a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.